All right, here we go. Trent's going to introduce the company, Uptown Properties, Shepherd Brothers Management, and AJ and myself. So take us away, Trent.
Are we talking about Uptown Properties or Uptown Syndication? Because I can introduce them all.
Yeah, Uptown Syndication to start.
Yeah, so we're Uptown Syndication. You just heard from Chris Shepard. AJ's sitting right there. My name is Trent Werner. AJ and Chris started Uptown Syndication. They also have Shepherd Brothers Management Construction Company. We are all licensed brokers in Oregon. We are fiduciaries. We're all realtors. So we have all of our clients' best interests in mind. And Chris and AJ have been doing this for about 14 years. I'm going on 6 years coming up here soon. And we're excited to talk about Summerfield Duplexes today.
All right, AJ is going to dive in and chat about what a syndication is. And I don't have a slide for this, but yeah, AJ, go ahead.
Yeah, so for those of you that aren't familiar, syndication is the pooling of money together to buy larger properties. So with our syndication company, we take on investors as LPs or limited partners, also called investors. There is a general partnership, which is comprised of my brother and myself, and that is also synonymously called sponsors or GPs. Typically, we raise money under the SEC exemption 506B, which means that all the investors need to be a known quantity to us. And I think we're well under the limit with this deal, but typically a deal you can raise up to $7.5 million with up to 35 people as known investors and unlimited with accredited investors. So typically on our deals, we're not going through the accreditation process because people are a known quantity to us. And that's generally how it works. Most of our deals are a little bit longer term holds. This particular one, we're looking at a capital event in 2 to 3 years, which will be hopefully a refinance, but that's kind of determinant on how interest rates go and the market goes. It's definitely been an uncertain time now from in the past like 6 to 12 months with interest rates. So those market conditions has been a significant change and is a little unpredictable. So that can change the course of some deals. But we are super excited to talk about our track record. And so I'm going to turn it over to Chris.
Okay, I'm actually going to talk about our investment philosophy. AJ is excited to chat about our track record here in a minute. So,
Yeah.
our investment philosophy is value add investing and value add property management. And so, we can add value to a property through a variety of ways. And one of the first ways to add value is by negotiating a great purchase price and identifying a property that has significant upside. And so I'm very excited that this particular property in Happy Valley meets those criteria. And primarily, we're going to be using property management value add. So on day one of the acquisition, we're going to start billing back. Well, we're going to send notices to bill back utilities, and then we're going to increase rents a little bit, but still significantly below market rent. And so those are property management value add methods. We don't have a ton of construction value add, I guess, opportunities with this property because it's been kept up so well. We will be able to, add some quartz countertops and some LVT floor. Little shout out to Linda Lim from Quality Granite in Beaverton. And so that's our investment philosophy is we want to find an underperforming asset where we can add value to it. And AJ, gonna turn it back over to you to talk about our track record and some of the deals that we have done in the past, and we've actually got a couple that are going full cycle here very shortly. So let me pull that slide up.
Yeah, so to kind of give you guys an understanding of where we came from, Chris and I, we've been purchasing properties since 2007, 2008, mostly held on to it. We got to the point where we were seeing deals come across our desk and we're like, man, it would be great to do this, but we just didn't have the capital ourselves. So in 2019, we set out to perform a syndication, and took us about a year to get all of the knowledge and kind of systems and how to do it. So we did our first one. We got it under contract, I think, in 2019, and then performed. We closed on it in 2020, which is the one on 68th. Later that year, we did Huber, and yeah, so Southwest 68th. We have put that on the market as of last week. We have some interest in it. That one is going to be a grand slam, which is awesome. We're looking at a 2.5, 3 year hold period, and it looks like it's going to be higher than 30% IRR back to investors. The one on Huber, we've just struggled with increasing rents. Looks like we're going to hit at our target for that. It's been on the market. We haven't had a ton of interest in it yet, but we expect it to dispose here in the next couple months. Executive Arms and King were kind of the following year. We started out with 68th and Huber were 9 and 12 units, and then King and Executive Arms were 20 and 25 units. And then we jumped up to 30 units with Tapiola. Those asset management plans are still underway, still fixing up some units. They seem to be performing quite well. Plenty of capital still in the reserves to do those renovations, and we see rents above pro forma in all three of those. So excited about that. And then just last week, or the week before, we closed on 47 unit. So we are in the throes of getting the asset management plan working on that. And that's been kind of our track record. Again, my brother and I have a large real estate portfolio. We started out with single family homes, and then duplexes, and then fourplexes, and then ultimately 8 units, which has been great. So I'm going to turn it back over to Chris to talk about this specific deal.
Okay. Let me scroll back to the top of the deal summary. So yeah, this is Happy Valley Townhomes, or we're calling it the Summerfield Loop Duplexes. It is 6 duplexes in a nice neighborhood. And these are all townhomes on their own lots. So that's a potential exit plan, is to sell them off one by one. We're acquiring them for roughly $271,000 a door, and there's not that much deferred maintenance at these properties. I just got the inspection back, and they, normal stuff, just like strapping a water heater or missing smoke detector. So that is exciting. So we've got into contract on this property at $3.5 million, but after the inspection, we negotiated the sellers down to $3.253 million, and that's where we got to our $271,000 per door price. These are 3 and 4 bedroom units, and the average rent in the area, so market rent, is roughly $2,300, $2,400. Let's show some more photos. Okay, and so here is the overview. I'm just taking the deal summary, but essentially we're looking to. AJ is going to talk about the raise. I will talk about the loan. So we're getting a Freddie Mac small balance loan, and that is going to be just under $2 million, and it's going to be a 5.45% interest rate, and we have we've bought a step down prepayment penalty. Normally, you'll have to do yield maintenance. So if interest rates go down, then you would have to pay a lot in a prepayment penalty. But we're paying a little extra so that because our business plan on this property is to refinance in the first, year and a half or 2 years. So yeah, down payment, purchase price is 3.253. We're getting roughly a $2 million loan. So the down payment is roughly 1.25 million. We are raising funds for reserves, and there is an acquisition fee of 2% of the purchase price. And as well, we have a small construction budget because we do expect, there to be a little bit of turnover. And one of the things that we've accounted for is higher turnover in the first 2 years. And so higher turnover, higher vacancy, and that's all a part of the business plan. And I mentioned the business plan is that we're going to be sending out rent increases, and we're going to be billing back utilities. So the only utilities to bill back at these units, since they're townhomes, is just there's a sewer bill that the owner's been paying for. A lot of the leases already say that they're going to bill it back, but the property management company that's currently managing is not billing back that currently. So a lot of it is just going to be, hey, this is what the lease says. We're just going to bill you back $65 a month for your sewer. And so that's one of our techniques to increase the net operating income. And then as far as like construction, we'll do minor cosmetic repairs as the deal. Well, as there's turnover. Yeah. And the exit plan. So AJ mentioned the refinance. And I believe it's possible to achieve this refinance around 18 months, which would get a significant amount of invested capital back to investors. So hopefully, around 18 to 20 months is really what we're shooting for. But it's possible it could draw out a little bit longer depending on interest rates. If rates are significantly higher in 18 months, then we probably will not refinance because that's just not a good decision for the asset. So if rates are significantly higher, and then we'd probably look at a shorter hold period, potentially selling off the units one by one, or selling it off as a package as a multifamily asset. And yeah, if we are able to achieve the refinance, then that capital event, we'll make sure that we hold back enough cash so that we can do all of the necessary repairs. There is going to be deferred maintenance that will need to be taken care of as the property, as we hold. And then we'll look at a 5 to 7 year hold period if we achieve that refinance. So yeah, I'm going to turn it over to Trent, and he's going to talk about asset management and kind of our construction plan. Trent, do you have a slide you want me to go to, or this one looks good? Project timeline, operations.
Yeah. So as Chris mentioned, the asset management plan doesn't include a whole lot of construction, mainly just cosmetic unit renovations when units are turned over or vacant. Property management inefficiencies that are currently going on right now with the current management company is what we're focused on. Increasing rents, billing back the sewer, like Chris mentioned. Right now, the rents are under market, and so that's kind of our main focus. The current owner, I want to say, helped develop the property, and so some of the systems are nearing the end of their useful life, and so we expect there to be water heaters, furnaces, that kind of thing. But I'd say that's the bulk of the construction, aside from the cosmetic updates that we plan on doing to the remodels when they turn over.
The roofs are also original, so like if we get a roof leak, we will be replacing roofs as needed.
Yep.
Sweet. AJ, yeah, do you want to talk about the deal structure? So we've got the raise and kind of how what returns look like for investors.
Yeah, so I believe that we are targeting $1.5 million in raise. So that's about 1.25 in down payment, 50 to 75 in kind of closing costs and other stuff associated with closing, and then we'll have 150 to 200 in the bank for some of these capital improvements. The investor level IRR that we anticipate is 16 to 17%. Is that right, Trent?
I think it's
And
17.2,
17.19. Yep.
assuming
17.
a refinance at year 3.
Yeah. So with that, we're doing a 70-30 split. So that's 70% to the investors, 30% to the sponsors. We offer a preferred return of 7%. So the sponsor, meaning the GP, doesn't take any fees until that 7% has been paid. And then after that 7% to the investor has been paid, we split it 30% to the GP and then 70% to the LP. So that's all on top of your 7%. And then once we hit the hurdle of 17% IRR, which is potentially going to happen on a sale upon the refinance, the investor's capital account will reduce by the amount of refinance that's put back. So just to give you an example, if you put in 100,000 and we return 70,000 or 60,000 of that, the capital account would be reduced to the 40,000 from the initial 100, but the percentage of ownership stays the same. So at no point does the ownership of the company change. And after we hit that hurdle, most likely upon a sale, whenever that occurs, the sponsor then takes 50%. So it goes to a 50-50 split. And that's kind of the waterfall structure on this. We've done a couple of these. This is like what we did with our first ones. Super excited about it. It really aligns the goals of the project with the investor returns. And those are the two waterfalls. It's a fairly simple structure. If you have more questions on it, happy to answer those. But it's 7% directly to the investor, then 70-30 split, and then a 50-50 after the IRR hurdle. And yeah, so we're excited again, shooting for that refinance, 18 months to 3 years, and then probably disposition sometime after that, depending on what the refinance loan looks like. So in total, might be a 5 to 8 or 5 to 10 year deal.
Awesome. Well, that's kind of all we've got planned out for the presentation. Happy to answer questions. I guess one thing we could talk about is Happy Valley itself. Happy Valley has grown significantly in the past 10 years. Trent, I think you pulled up the population data. It's been growing at about 10 to 15% per year.
I think it was like 6 to 8%, but over like 6-7 years ago, there was huge migration there. So the numbers are down a little bit, but overall it's like 6.8% annually in the last 10 years.
And Trent, just to ask you the question, if we were to sell these off one by one, what do you anticipate today the price of one unit going for?
That's a great question. I'd probably guess mid fours. I mean, it's hard to find a townhome for less than 400,000 right now anywhere in the Portland metro area. So my gut's telling me probably 430 to 460 range, depending on the condition.
Yeah. But the plan is to hold them and let them appreciate. So we're starting off at a at a good spot, and they should appreciate from that. I mean, especially with migration to Happy Valley and a migration out of Multnomah County. So that's one of the other features of this location is that some of the stricter rental laws in Multnomah County are not the same in Clackamas. And so, yeah, it's a little easier to manage property and it's just a really desirable area to live. I have a friend who recently just purchased a property out in Happy Valley, and when I first saw this property come available, he is a fellow business owner and has a very nice home. And I asked him like, "Hey, what do you think about these townhomes?" And he's like, "Oh, that's a block and a half from my house. That's a great area. That's a really good find." So that's one of the reasons why I've been so excited about this location is that it's just really family friendly. And that's a picture of the park that is across the street. Um, it's right next to New Seasons. There's a food cart pod across the street. Um, and like it's just in a community that um, is nice. Like it's a kind of a little subdeveloped neighborhood, and so I like that. I like the location a lot. And I have been out and I've inspected every unit, and they are in good condition. And I firmly do believe that we can get the projected rents of 2,300 a month. There's actually one unit that at the property that is already at 2,295 per month in rent, and then there are a couple units that are at 1,595. So that's kind of uh, the property management company that's in place has not kind of exactly stayed up on raising rents on existing tenants, and one of the reasons why the seller is selling. So yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's
Does
open it.
does anyone have any questions for us? Don't all speak at once.
Yeah, here's the 6 townhomes. Well, the 6 duplexes. There's one townhome on each side, and then this is the park that's across the street. And these are all single family homes in the complex. So yeah.
I think I might have missed it, guys. It was probably at the beginning. Sorry. And this is Kevin. I'm Trent's friend. I've met you guys. It's been a little bit though. I'm sorry. What are the numbers for bedrooms and bathrooms in each unit? Are they all the same or different?
It's 3 bedrooms and 4 bedrooms. There's 4 bedrooms, and those have a converted garage for that 4th bedroom. And then there's 8 3 bedrooms, and those ones have a single car garage. And they're 2.5 bath units. The 4 bedrooms are 1,400 square feet, and the 3 bedrooms are 1,125 square feet.
Okay. Yeah, that 271 per unit seems like a steal. If I think that's what Trent said to me, and I've been to Happy Valley quite a few times, and I can definitely agree that it's been on the up and up over the past, I don't know, especially past 8 years, and it looks like it's continuing to grow. I went to the Street of Dreams they had out there, and I think it was 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, but I think for where this is at, it looks like a pretty good spot for sure. So I think you guys did a good job.
Awesome.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
12 townhomes, so 6 duplexes, so it's 6 properties that could be sold. So 6 units, right?
12 units. So there's 12 townhomes, 6 buildings, but
Yeah, so,
there's 12 lots. So
okay,
each,
12 lots.
yeah, so there's 12 tax lots.
Perfect.
So there's currently no HOA either, which is nice. Typically when you get in a subdevelopment like this, there's an HOA that tax on expenses, but these particular ones do not have that, right, Chris?
Yeah, there's no HOA, and that's a big deal because generally, that's adding somewhere between $100 to $400 per unit per month, which can be a significant line item on the income statement, and that'll significantly reduce the net operating income. So, yeah.
I did just pull up the like Zillow stuff, and I know how loose that can be, but looking at the actual neighborhood, it's pretty impressive. Like it looks like it's 400 to 550, kind of in those houses just south on that picture. And then if heading over to the west, new lots being built with $1 million homes and 800 plus. So it's a very good neighborhood, which is a big plus for the project.
I get to highlight one of the benefits of this investment is just the refinance opportunity. Normally, when someone's raising funds for a syndication, they're gonna plan to hold on to the entirety of that cash for 5 to 7 to 10 years. But with this opportunity, I really believe that we're going to be able to get a loan of somewhere around 3 million to 3.5 million in a year to a year and a half, and that should return a significant portion of the equity that we raise. And so we'll be able to place that, those funds into another vehicle, whether it's another deal like this or if somebody just has a different idea on how to use those funds. But the passive investors keep their percentage of the property until it's sold. And, those preferred returns keep getting paid out, and the profits on sale all are based off the original investment. And so, yeah, it's kind of a, this property reminds me of kind of the first properties that AJ and I bought, single family homes, where we wanted to purchase it, do a value add, and then be able to refinance and get a loan for all of the cash that we have into the property. And so this one kind of fits that BRRRR, buy, rent, rehab, or refinance strategy.
Cool. Well, thank you everyone for coming. If you have any other additional questions or you're watching this by recording, feel free to reach out to us. You should have my cell phone number, Chris's cell phone number, Trent's number. We can always be reached at ajchris@uptownpm.com, and that goes to like the whole team. And we'll get you answers as soon as possible. You are able to log into your investment management profile and just put in how much money you want to subscribe for this deal. Or if you just want to send us a note, we can fill that out for you as well. So appreciate your time and watching this, and we look forward to investing with everyone in the future.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
Hey, thanks guys.
All right, and now AJ is going to chat about the documents that we need to bring on a passive investor to this investment.
Yeah, thanks for listening all the way through. Right now, we have created an LLC, which is going to operate the property. That LLC is going to be comprised of what I talked about earlier, the general partner and then the limited partners. So how we add in the limited partners into the company is through a document called a subscription agreement. This agreement just says that you agree to put up the money for how many units you're buying, and it's $1 per unit. We typically have a $50,000 minimum. And so that says that we're accepting that money and you're going to be a part of the company for a certain percentage, which is we're going to raise 1.5 million. So it's 50,000 divided by 1.5, or if you like to put in more, like 100,000, your ownership percentage will go up. So we'll sign those documents. We'll request funds. Looks like June 5th is kind of the day that we want to start seeing funds come into the account. And they'll get wired directly into escrow. And then once all the funds are there, we close, and then the remaining funds then go to the operating account that the property management holds, and capital goes out from and pays for the renovations and fees and operates the company. Then we do distributions quarterly. So at the end of the fiscal quarter, so like end of March, we shoot for 15 days after the quarter to have reports out. We give an update with pictures, what's been done, progress on stuff, and also then distributions. We guarantee to have that out by 30 days after the quarter. So first quarter ends in March. We agree to have stuff out by April. As far as taxes go, we did not discuss that either. We typically do cost segregations, and on a project like this, you can expect to see a significant loss in year one. I don't want to quote exactly what that'll be. It's a very differs from property to property, but I'm happy to share a K1 with someone if they'd like to see some of our past projects and how it's worked out. Again, past performance doesn't indicate future performance, but should be very similar to that. And so we're excited to see those tax losses. If you're a real estate professional, you talk to your CPA. We are not tax attorneys or CPAs, but you can typically write the passive losses off of your other passive gains. And if you're a real estate professional, I believe that can be off of your active gains. So that can be very beneficial for property managers, real estate brokers, anything to do with real estate investment. So, Chris, did I miss anything?
My estimate on the cost seg loss is going to be about 55 to 65% of capital invested. So if you invested $100,000, a loss would be something like 55 or 65,000. In past years, we've had higher amounts, but bonus depreciation went down from 100% in 2020 to 80% in 2023. And so that reduces the gain or the tax opportunity from the cost segregation a little bit. But yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you again.